Hi guys, welcome back to Deckstar Plans. My name's Ali, and today it's going to be an end of season review about how two of the members of the team have managed to get in the top 32 of the Star Wars Unlimited leaderboard in season 1. For those of you that don't know, the Star Wars Unlimited leaderboard was introduced this season, so going back to just after Galactic's last set, where you're ranked based on how well you do in planetary qualifiers, sector qualifiers, and regional qualifiers. The top 32 players at the end of the season, which is now just being confirmed, will get paid flights and accommodation to the Galactic Championship, and then depending on the amount of points you get extra prize cards, and of course getting in the top 32 will hand you with the prestige of being in the top 32. So this first video is going to be covering Silk's journey and how he managed to finish 16th on the leaderboard. And the next video will be covering my journey and how I managed to finish 30th on the leaderboard. If you like this type of content, please like, comment, subscribe. You can join our Discord in the link in the description below. And I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks guys. Hi guys, welcome back to Deckstar Plans. My name's Ali and I'm joined with Silk here today. And
hey, how you doing?
We're going to be covering our Season 1 in Star Wars Unlimited. So, we want to do this video because I think we've came quite far from the Galactic Championship last year in terms of individually, as a team, and as, so individually and as a team. So, I think we'll start with our kind of performance at Galactics last year and why we wanted to try and improve on that. So, do you want to start, Silk, and just talk about sort of how you found Galactics last year and sort of where you wanted to go ahead in Season 1?
Yeah, so Galactics last year was a unique experience. I thought it was absolutely incredible. The community, the buzz, the event. I had a really good time. I felt like I was prepared. So before Galactics, me and Martin had made quite good friends. So we decided that we would test together a little bit and like help each other out. And Martin was really, really keen on the Anakin Blue deck at the time. I can't remember whether we ended up playing Force or just Anakin Blue. But anyway, he was really excited about it. So I hadn't had much time because of work. So I just played Anakin with him. We tested games, we built lists, and we felt relatively confident that it was going to do well. Before the event, when obviously the cards were released, I built, funnily enough, Kylo Red, like my own version, not the one that did really well, like similar. And I was like, this deck seems busted, but it was very much it looks like it's going to be busted and maybe it will just be worked out quickly. So I even messaged like Chris Schiff and things like that. And I was like, did you seen this deck? And he was like, yeah, I'm thinking green myself. So I was like, so then I dropped it and went back to Anakin. It was just a safer, the deck I had more reps in. Got to Galactics, didn't need to play day one because we'd already qualified. So played some fun side events, had a good time. And then we got into day one. And I think I lost my win and in by 1 damage. And I just felt really disappointed. And I was watching everyone finish their matches and like the Bothan network, like running together, discussing every match. What did we do here? What could we have done there? How did we that? And they all had the same deck. Then it was like, the other team, like Enigma, doing the same thing. And I was like, wow, this is, and obviously we hung out a lot at Galactics as well, didn't we? And
yeah,
like me and you, and we decided like we were just watching it, how these people were so connected, and they'd had plans for every matchup, and if they played a matchup in the day they hadn't played, they could discuss it so that the other team members, if they played against it, knew what to do when they came against it. And I just found that so powerful, that wealth of knowledge that I think playing like alone, me and Martin just testing together, didn't get.
Yeah.
So my performance wasn't my favourite. I didn't make day 3 and I was pretty gutted that I didn't make day 3. But we had a good time, and I think we all came together then at Galactics and we were like, I think we should do something, like me, you, Martin, like there was a few others that have joined us, Sam.
Yeah.
And I just felt like that was what, pardon?
No, go on, sorry.
Yeah, and I just felt like that was like such a strong thing because we, talked to you, Heather, everyone involved, and we just started to make more of a community around ourselves. And I think that our Galactics performance last year has enhanced not the need, but the want for like a strong community-based team that just works together and tries to put through ideas. And I think that is how we came together for Deckstar Plans.
Yeah, I think pretty similar as you. I had quite a good Galactic performance, but didn't make day 3. And I played Talzin, but had no insight in terms of no input from other teams, and I feel like it was just those extra cards that you miss from having loads of input from other players. So, I lost all the 3 games I lost were against Control, but I didn't know about the Krennic thing that they were doing with the when defeated effects to play around that. I wasn't playing Devastators and stuff because I kind of brushed off that in other Discords, whereas I think that these teams having this competitive community where you have players who play different deck styles and they can, it's really good being able to play against good players in your own team, get smoked by a deck and realise I need to do something about this, rather than before I went to Galactics you were just smoking everyone on Karabast or, locals with this deck that you've made, and it's good, but you're still missing that extra 5-10%, and I think we really appreciated that at Galactics, and I think that's what kind of pushed us forward into sort of come together as a group to, one, get better individually, but 2, sort of get together as a team, because ultimately, I don't know how you feel, Silk, but I think that the other teams, I'm not sure we would, like me, you, Heather, etc., would fit into those other teams. Just different playstyles, different sort of. I don't know if we seem to get on really well together. Maybe we get on with other guys, but it just seemed to fit really well to get towards Deckstar Plans, which I think is an important part of progressing and sort of play, because you want to have fun when you're playing the game. So if you're in a team that you're not having fun with, then you're probably not going to get better. So I think a couple of things, you're right, sort of being in a team with people you like, being in a team with people who are competitive, has really helped us push forward in this set. So I think going from the sort of disappointment of us not making day 3 in Galactics to sort of going forward into Legends of the Force Season 1, where I think you particularly, Silk, did phenomenal. I think, spoiler alert, before anyone is wondering why we're talking about this, both Silk and I have both made top 32 for the leaderboard now. It's just finished last weekend. I've just scraped in, but Silk was basically guaranteed since the beginning of set 2, set 6. So I think it's a massive accomplishment. But I think it all came from your performance in Legends of the Force to start with, Silk. So I think we'll just go over your name in this HRI leaderboard, which has sort of your very beginnings of Season 1 in Legends of the Force, and you can see the sort of improvement. So you start with your Planetary Qualifiers, which I think you were playing the sort of Flippy Palp deck at that point, where you were getting 15 points here and there, top 8s, top 8s, top 8s.
Yeah.
And I think this is part of development in terms of a player where everyone sort of has this sort of pet deck where you continue to get top 8s, but then it's really hard to push beyond that, and I think it's quite mature to realise that sometimes you need to change deck, and I think that's what you did pretty well when you changed to the Yoda deck, and then took the 2 PQs in a row. Do you want to talk about that a bit, Silk?
Yeah, so as you said, I love my Flippy Palp deck, and I had some really cool card promos from Galactics, so I thought I'd do it. And the first one was in my hometown in Southampton, and I got top 8. I was buzzing because I made top 8 with Flippy Palp. And it was a hard day. I played. My first round was against Joshua Freeman Birch, and if you know him in the community, absolutely phenomenal player. Like, I'm, one of the best players in the game. He plays Riftbound now, so we don't really see him much. But I managed to get all the way to top 8, and I found a couple of times that with Flippy Palp, it was just I could get there, but once I got to the stronger players, they could see around what they were doing. They knew when to kill units, when not to kill units, and it became a much harder game. So I switched. I think it was actually at Cardiff where I got top 4 that I switched to Yoda, but I switched it the night before. I built Yoda Red. Force Throw was still a thing. I really enjoyed it. I got top 4 and I lost to Thomas Rose, another phenomenal player who's also made top 32. So well done, Thomas Rose. I lost to Thomas Rose in top 4. He was playing Quinlan, and he just built this really unique Quinlan that was very different to the ones I'd played against with Yoda before, where it wasn't it was just hyper aggro. It wasn't control or mid range. Sorry, like dealing with the board. He didn't care. He just smashed face, and Yoda just couldn't deal with it. So I made some changes, and yeah, I went to Melton Milbury the week after, and I took down that PQ with Yoda Red, and then straight after that, the week next to it, I went to Cheltenham and did again with Yoda Red. Two weekends in a row, and I was really happy with my performance. And I'm like really proud of how, and that was all to do with like working together and learning, that Ray combo was just so broken. And I just found that, like, because a lot of people were playing Yoda Green, even though Force Throw is the thing. I just found the Ray combo was so broken. So I moved on to Ray Red, and I had a really good time. Then Force Throw got banned, and I moved over to Yoda Green. So that was when we went to Bilbao. Bilbao, I was slightly disappointed with I wasn't disappointed with my performance. I lost my win and in to a hand 2 red. And hand 2 blue. I usually smoke with the Yoda deck, the hand 2 blue. But game 1 I won without taking any damage. By the end of it, I healed off all the damage. Game 2, I was playing Yoda Green Force, sorry. Game 2 was really close, but he just took it. And then game 3, I opened up with a 7 cost, 7 cost, 8 cost, 8 cost, and a 6 cost. And I didn't draw my first turn play until 5 resources. And I was like, wow, this is really unfortunate. And the guy just looked at me and he was like, I'm really sorry, dude. And I was like, nah, man, it happens. And so I lost my win and in. So I got top 64, but I didn't make the second day. And it was the only regional or sector I managed to get to due to things happening. So I was hoping to get a bit further. And I think if I didn't brick on game 3, I would have got a lot further, because that was a one where I think T85 came second in that event, and his deck was pretty similar to mine, but I was using Palp's Return for 8 and reborning stuff, and it was just so powerful, that combo, and I took so many people by surprise. So I found that really, really good.
So I suppose sorry, I was just going to say that was season 1, not season 1, the first Legends of the Force complete at that point.
Yeah.
So at that point, you're talking, 200, nearly 300 points. When did you decide that you're going to go for the top 32? After the first PQ win?
Yeah, genuinely, yeah. I was like, I'm going to do as many PQs as I can this set. Because I can't go. PQ? Yeah, I couldn't go to Vegas, so yeah. I opened my own business. I couldn't afford to go to Vegas, but they offered free flights. I was like, I will try and do it. I didn't think it was possible. I didn't think I'd make it, and then I won a couple, and I was like, I'm actually quite high on the leaderboard now.
Yeah.
So I just kept going to PQs and seeing what I could do, really.
So would you say it was probably from the start then that you said you tried for it, then maybe it became a reality after the second PQ win?
Yeah. I was grinding, and I was like, after I won 2 in a row, I was like, I think I could do this. Like, my performance I'm doing really well. I've still got to iron out a few things and make sure that, like, I'm still learning. Everyone's learning, and like, we'll talk about, especially coming into the Road to Worlds, like.
Sorry, you cut off a bit. Can you say that again?
Been very humbled in terms of some aspects of my gameplay, and I need to improve this set. I've been very humbled with some aspects of my gameplay, like sealed and draft. So I'm learning that, and like it's a frantic thing to learn that now. So yeah, I wanted to do as well as I could, so that I was safe and I could concentrate on getting to Worlds and what could actually be a reality.
And then in Secrets of Power, though, I think, consistently performed well, but I think this was the first set we were a proper team, I feel like. We probably actually established at Bilbao, but I think that Secrets of Power was the first set that we actually came together as a team. I think the most probably buzzing you were was probably after Norwich when you won that. I remember just because you'd had a couple of finalists, top 8 final, and I think you're like, oh, I'm never going to win one again, and then you won it, and it was like you were absolutely buzzing. You couldn't sleep at night. and that feels amazing, doesn't it? See, when you kind of have those kind of top four finalists, and then you finally go over the hump again, it makes you, I don't know, I love that feeling. And I love the way you felt about that.
Yeah.
And it kind of, that event especially, like, secured you, I think, because at that point it put you to almost 500 points, which at that point we thought would be enough. We thought that would be guaranteed. I thought 400 points would be guaranteed. But this put you to just over 500 points, which, I mean, one, like, you feel amazing for winning, and two, you know, basically guaranteed your Vegas flights in the Norwich one.
Yeah, I was buzzing. Norwich is a special place for me. I've got a lot of friends in Norwich, and it ended up being a Yoda green mirror in the final, and I think it took nearly 2 hours, and we were both so tired, but the game was amazing. The people were amazing. It was good to finally win. Like you see on the sheet, I got top 4 finalists, like you said, and I just kept getting so close, and I just couldn't push over the mark. But I finally did again, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I felt like, okay, I can start having a bit more fun with the game again. I think rotation happened soon after Norwich, didn't it?
I think there was one more PQ before rotation.
Okay, cool. Was that Preston?
Preston, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, like I just after the win in Norwich, I thought actually I can start playing different decks now and have a little bit of fun, because the rotation was coming and I didn't need to worry about my points as much. I just thought a few tops here and there would guarantee me, like you said, the place.
Yeah.
So.
And then just want to talk about Preston, because that's one of the kind of, I don't know, we just, like, no one really had to go to it, like, from the team, but that was like a big thing. We just all went to see each other, I think, and then we all did quite well.
Yeah.
I had quite a lot of fun in that event.
Yeah.
Just drove down and drove back, and that's, I think, another thing about being, like, making this community in the UK is that nothing really feels like a hassle. Like, you go to these events and it's just sort of like you're just going for fun. It's not like, I don't know, because you see everyone that you don't see all the time. I mean, we obviously live, like, I don't know if people know what the UK is like, but me and Silk probably live as far away from each, like, I live in Scotland and Glasgow, and Silk lives near London, so you're talking like a 7-8 hour drive.
Yeah.
So we hardly ever see each other, but we should hardly ever see each other, but we seem to see each other all the time at these PQs.
Yeah.
And then just,
and I still think we've never played.
No, I know, and maybe that's good. Oh my God. We almost played at Preston, but we ID'd.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
And then going into the last set after rotation, you had a big win with the Piet deck that, to be honest, I feel like you identified over that no one else seemed to identify. I mean, we talked about it a bit after you won with it, but I think just the right deck for the right event, one of those type of situations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so the week before I played in Pool, and I didn't have time to make a deck. So the team bought me the cards in for Lando Lake, because it had just done really well in an event. I like Lando, and I was like, I haven't gotten a deck for the event, so like Pete scrounged together some cards, Martin grabbed me some cards, and I just built the deck when I got there in the morning. They didn't have all the cards for the deck, so I ended up chucking in a few cards for my side, whatever. One of them ended up winning me a game, and that was probably the craziest event. The last time I was at Pool, I played Kanan and got to the to the finals before Kanan was registered as a deck. And then this time I played Ollie Big Notation, shout out to him, he's doing really well this season, like done incredibly well. I played him in round 1 and I beat him, but we realized quite quickly whoever had the initiative won the game. And then in the fight, we got all the way to the final, and it was me and Ollie again, and he was higher seed than me, so he had the initiative. He won game 1, I won game 2, he won game 3. And it was like, well, that is what it is. It didn't feel bad. It was just like, we tried. There was things we could have done probably, but neither of us knew the deck inside out, because I believe he had the exact same thing as me. His friends gave him the deck the night before. He played a couple of games. He played it at the event. He won, I got finalist. The week later in Cardiff, the final was me and Ollie again, but this time I was on Piet. I decided to go with Piet because I loved Piet at the end of, not last set, but the set before, I think it was before Worlds. The set before Worlds, I played Piet at a PQ and I won that PQ. I can't remember which one it was, but I won it and I was like, oh, Piet's really cool. And then it was when Boba was doing pretty well, but I just felt like Piet did it better than Boba. So I was like, no one seems to be playing Piet at the moment, so I made Piet red. I thought the droid Invisible Hand ship was crazy. The Gonk droid was crazy. We now had Honor Bonds Partisan. I probably got that wrong again. I'm terrible with names. Loads of cards to like decrease the cost of cards, and I just found Piet walked over Obi-Wan and Lando, and I felt like because it walked over them so well, it was the best deck for the event, and I feel like it was the best deck for the event, and I managed to take it. It was a really good qualifier, really good win. I felt really strong, and I had a great time. So yeah,
good. And then finally, since that was Eternal, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Eternal.
Yeah, but still, identifying a deck in Eternal seemed to be we spent a lot of time actually on Eternal as a team just because we felt that it was maybe like if you at least have an Eternal deck that you've practiced with. We felt like if you go to an event, you're probably going to top that event in terms of top 8, regardless of what the deck is and regardless of how good it was. So I suppose that's another part of, I know you were already safe at that point, but another part of sort of the top 32 challenge was identifying stuff that would guarantee you a top 8 and stuff that you might want to try and win with. And I think, although you didn't do that many events, I think that's a different... Sorry, go on.
I think that's what you were really, really strong at in this team, was that you often were like, if you want to then play this deck. And you know, that was the weekend. You said that, and you got Martin atop, Sam got the top to get his points, Kieran got the top to get his points. I just felt like you were really strong at like facilitating that. This is the deck to play if you want to get top at a PQ. Not necessarily to win the PQ, but to get a top at PQ. So I feel like that was something that...
I think that's something that's a bit the sort of difference between a top 8 and a winning in terms of, if you look back at the start of your set, I feel like if you're good with that Flippy Pulp deck, you're probably going to top 8, but it's quite hard to win kind of thing. And I think that we identified a few decks that would almost definitely get a top 8, but almost definitely not win. And so I suppose it depends on where you are and how much you need the points or how much you need the extra points. So a couple of times we talked about, and maybe we got it wrong, but in terms of a deck that would win the event but might struggle to get to top 8. And that was true for sectors and regionals, and maybe we got it wrong, and maybe the actual right way is just to play these really strong decks and play them well, but we felt like they're too easy to counter sometimes. So I don't know, I think it's something we can work on. I think we sometimes do brush off strong decks for being like, you know, like decks for idiots, kind of, you know, too easy to play, decks like that, whereas in reality you could just play the better and get that extra 2%, and then maybe you could win. So
I feel like I agree with you there.
But it's hard, isn't it? You want to play something that has a bit of a surprise factor and stuff, something that beats the best deck. I think it's a bit of a balance. So you came 16th overall,
but I feel like yes, I might have come higher if I was able to do some sectors, some regionals and some sectors. I know on my list it says I did one regional, but one sector, but I didn't. I've talked to the owner of the website, and he doesn't know what's basically. I think I was signed up for Tilburg, but I obviously couldn't get there, and it counted me as going one loss. I just didn't go. I didn't even play. And I think like there was some finishing 16th was like a really big thing for me, because I'm trying to do everything in my power to prove that I can play the game to the best of my ability.
Thanks for listening, guys. If you like this type of content, please like, comment, subscribe our videos. You can join our Discord in the link below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks.
Peace.